Feel the power of your determination taking control of your breathing. Feel the power of your presence, your gift, right now in this moment. Now think about you doing your best today on all the exercises we do together in the gym of life. See, we are so powerful, we get to think, create, imagine in our minds, and make real in the world. That goes with everything. The way we do our exercises to the best of our ability is the same way we can do anything to the best of our ability.
Bubbly, 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 bum bum bum, bubbly, 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 bum bum bubble. dance all night, we go dance all night. Yo, are you ready to bubble? Dance all night, we go dance all night. Ha ha, we want this yeah. Dance all night, we go dance all night. Dance all, dance all, dance all, dance all, dance all, dance all. Are you ready to bubble? Bubbling, everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, bubbling, everybody bubbling, little bubble, bubble, bubbling, bubbling, everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubble, bubble, bubbling, 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 everybody bubbling, everybody bubbling, bubbling.
Good morning, guys. Today, Wayne Dyer shares with us another amazing piece of advice, and that is there are no justified resentments. So what that means is there's no reason for us to continue to allow hate and vengeance to fill our hearts, no matter what's happened to us. It's a very hard thing, a very hard practice to implement, but we have to work on it because there's no reason to justify why we should allow hatred towards any other human being, no matter what's happened to us. That is still a decision we make. It's a hard one to, sort of a hard, bitter medicine to swallow. But if we can accept that, we can change our life, and we can make sure that the resentment stops with us, that the negativity stops with us, no matter what's happened to us. It's very difficult, but if we can commit to that and understand there's no justification for our own resentment, we can free ourselves. Have a great morning, everyone.
We may or may not have been comfortable making friends as kids. Everyone sort of lies on a different part of the spectrum there. But what's kind of universally shared is that by the time we're an adult, whether you have a family or not, whether you're working a full-time job or not, we tend to change. We tend to be more protected, tend to be more suspicious. We tend to be less open, less vulnerable. And making new friends very often gets harder. Not for everybody, but from what I've seen, for most people, certainly for me, I'm raising my hand when I say that. I am a member of that club, and I think a lot of times also we rely on the friends that we made from as far back as we can imagine because they know us the best and we trust them the most and they trust us the most. And we know that it takes a certain investment of energy and a risk of exposing who we are to make new friends. And once we're a little bit further into life, a lot of times we just don't want to go there. Like we're navigating and grappling with so much that the idea of spending that energy, of putting ourselves out, of taking the risk of not being accepted, it's just too much. So we kind of shut down and we accept, our friendship lot for the moment that we're in, and sometimes for life. And I'm sharing this because in no small part, I'm describing myself. I love people, but I'm also introverted. I love people, and I'm also what Elaine Aron would describe as a highly sensitive person, which means that in part, I get sensitive in social situations to the extent where even loud noises or being in an environment that's super noisy for an extended period of time can make me start to withdraw. So I've had to figure out, okay, how do I have a vibrant set of friends and regular interaction with them and actually, quote, put myself out there, knowing that I'm actually pretty happy hanging out. I'm literally like in a recording studio where the walls are on either side of me and they're all padded. It's as quiet and cozy as you can get. Like, how do I step out of this setting? Or how do I invite people into this setting and create those friendships that aren't just superficial, but change you and sustain you for life? I run couple of companies right now, but one is called Good Life Project. And we're most known, I think, these days for the podcast that we create. But bigger picture, for 5 years, when you zoom the lens out, we actually ran an adult summer camp where for generally the last 4 days of summer, every summer for 5 years, we would drop into this 160-acre kids sleepaway camp. Of course, after they cleaned the whole place out, because there was a lot of cleaning to do after the kids. And it was this great facility, and it was kids' bunks. They weren't winterized or summerized. You get what you get. A dozen bunks to each building. And we would kind of swoop in and we'd take it over. And we would spend the better part of the entire year figuring out how to create this near magical environment. And then we would welcome, by the end, we're welcoming about 450 people every year. They would come on planes, trains, automobiles. They would come from the other side of the world. We had people from Australia. Like literally, they would travel from the other side of the planet to get to this place to spend 4 days, often with total strangers. And very often they would come alone. They didn't come as a group, although they'd always leave as a group. And, we learned over that 5-year window that there were a lot of things that we could do, that we could think through. There are a lot of mechanisms that we could create. There was an ethos that we could cultivate. We could be very intentional about creating a dynamic that allowed total strangers who were often just stepping off of 24 hours of flying, multiple connections, 14-hour time difference, crossing the date line, to drop into this place in the middle of the country in a kids sleepaway camp, sleep a dozen to a bunk in like tiny little kids sleeping bunks, by the way, share bathrooms, and be amazingly comfortable and have it be this stunning experience, where our favorite thing to know would be like they came alone and they would leave with lifelong friends. So let's talk a little bit about some of the lessons that we learned through this 5-year experience of running our own adult summer camp. It's kind of fun. One of the first lessons that we really learned is that we needed to create what I called a safe container. Now, we did this in the context of, we literally took over a kids sleepaway camp. We removed people from their day-to-day environment. So all the stresses, all the distractions coming at you, all the devices that you're like distracting yourself with, like the phone calls, everything, the people bumping into you, none of that existed. So one of the things I realized is incredibly powerful is if you literally remove yourself to a place where it's almost you're stepping out of the ordinary world and into the extraordinary world. And you can almost
It's like I'm living a dream, but it's how everyone feels. We all unite with one feel. So let's wave our hands. We can sing, we can dance. We are strong, hold on tight. From afar we unite. Ah yeah, ah yeah, here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our lives. Ah yeah, here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our. This is the time of our. Ah yeah, here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our lives. Ah yeah, here we go, ah yeah. This is the time of our lives. I love this moment right now.
take it away. So let it happen and how. It's why I cherish each day. So let's wave our hands. We can sing, we can dance. We are strong. Hold on tight from afar. We unite.
Here we go.
Ah, yeah, here we go, ah, yeah. This is the time of our lives. Ah, yeah, here we go, ah, yeah. This is the time of our lives. Ah, yeah, here we go, ah, yeah. This is the time of our lives. Ah, yeah, here we go, ah, yeah. This is the time of our lives. What we see, destiny. Realize now we all know the greatest. Ah, yeah, here we go, ah, yeah. This is the time of our lives. Ah, yeah, here we go, ah, yeah. This is the time of our
Lives.
Out of his goal, Doyle's going to shoot. Oh, what a goal! Michael Doyle has scored from the halfway line. Oh my word! To win the tie in your life.
Good afternoon, guys. We have to positively brainwash our minds. We have to make it our number one priority to start our day that way. It's the one thing that has helped me so much, and it is one thing I'm trying to do is to add value in your life through spreading as much positive thought energy, because it's helped me. It's worked for me, and I hope that it can work for you. In fact, I know it will work for you. But it takes a lot of hard work, it takes a commitment, and it takes you winning the morning. You got to get up earlier. I know it's hard, but maybe you start little by little, and that's the time. That's the focus time where you start filling your mind with positive thought energy. We're going to be brainwashed anyway. Our minds are going to be filled and occupied by default by negative things. If we don't make an effort, that's what will happen. So it's up to you. You got to fight. You got to positively brainwash your mind. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Why did we expand into things like electronics, tools, and kitchen since those businesses are not today profitable? And the answer is that increases our addressable market size, so we can ultimately build a much larger company by entering into those new product categories. And second, while it's true that those new categories, which are only 3 years old, and by the way, electronics, tools, and kitchen is now a $600 million business at Amazon.com, which makes it probably in the top 4 or 5 e-commerce companies anywhere in the world. So that business is growing and growing very rapidly. And it has one of the big advantages, it has a huge audience of early adopters, which is why companies like Segway choose us as the exclusive launch platform for products like that, because really early adopters are the kind of people who buy stuff like this. But that business ultimately will be, electronics in particular, in my opinion, will be our largest, most profitable business one day. When you start a new business, there are certain fixed costs that come along with starting that business. And then the business has to reach enough scale so that the profit from the business, the variable profit, can cover those fixed costs. There's no sidestepping that, and it's just a simple investment issue.
Most entrepreneurs diversify too quickly. Most entrepreneurs are focus for whatever reason on having 14 different income streams instead of doing what actually matters, which is getting one down that's paying you. So many people who are bragging about their 14 income streams or 15 or 20 or 7, none of them are making money. It's great that you have an income stream that pays you $100 a year, but that's not actually getting you where you want to go. And the challenge is you end up spending so much time trying to set up these different diversified income streams that you're not ever putting enough energy into any of them to get traction and get results. It's unfair to look at what you can do now and compare yourself to a Jeff Bezos from Amazon, or even compare yourself to what I can do with a team of 37 people compared to what you can do now. The way that all of your heroes built their businesses and their wealth is by focusing on one thing and making it amazing and being world-class at it and great at it, and then diversifying. So this really depends on the stage and cycle that you're at. But most of the people who are watching, you're in the early stage. You're trying to figure out how to make this business go. You want to turn it into a full-time thing and eventually hire a team and build and grow and scale. If that's where you're at now, if you're in the build mode and this isn't a full-time business for you yet, then diversification is not the strategy. Focus is the strategy. Pick the one thing you can be great at, give insane value at, get amazing at it, and then go make some money doing it to then build your big vision, which is going to be a lot more diversified. When I look at my business, people ask me, movement makers, well, what should I do? Should I have my YouTube channel, and should I be doing Instagram and doing coaching and books and courses? And inside Movement Makers, we're training thought leaders, right? How do you build a business around your ideas, what you've been through, your purpose comes from your pain, you want to serve. How do we turn a business out of that? And for a lot of them, they're just doing way too many things, and as a result, nothing gets done. Well, I want to write a book, and I want to be a speaker, I want to have my YouTube channel, and I want to have courses and a membership program, and of course do coaching. And then as a result, you're so busy trying to set up all these different things that nothing ends up happening. It's insanely slow across the whole board because you feel like you have to have diversification in case one of the streams goes away. But none of the streams are making any money. So who cares if they go away, right? Like that's the focus that you need to have at the beginning is let's set up a sizable, consistent stream of revenue coming in, and then you can worry about diversifying. Honestly, there's too much time being spent on the wrong things, and it's just a sequence, right? It's like not that you give up on those things, there's just a timing to it. If you actually want to accomplish them, the better way to accomplish them is with a team, right? If you have 10 things that you want to do, the way to actually accomplish them is to have team help you go and accomplish them. Great, how do I get team? By focusing on one thing and making it give you money so that then you can afford to hire a team. So if you look at your list of 10 different things that you can do, you should focus on, okay, out of these 10 things, what is the thing that I love that can bring me some immediate money? That then I can pay myself. That's good. That I can provide for my family. That's good. And then maybe hire somebody part-time to eventually full-time, that then they can ease some of my burden, and then I can focus on building this one pipeline stronger or building a second pipeline, right? That's
Yo, DJ Rafi, you ready? I'm ready. Are you guys ready?
Let's go!
We shake it off. Now turn around. We don't let no bad vibes get in our way. Put your hands up in the air. When we dance, we don't care. Wave left, now right. Then turn around and one more time.
Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side. Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side.
Shake it up, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right. Then bring it all back to the other side. Shake it up, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right, then bring it all back to the other side. Some days you'll feel like you're on top, but some days go down like a big old flop. But I know what to do when I'm feeling blue. I just gotta feel the groove. Don't care what others say. No one's gonna ruin my day. Put a smile on, don't be shy. Begin to dance, it's worth a try.
Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right, then bring it all back to the other side. Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right, then bring it all back to the other side.
Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right, then bring it all back to the other side. Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right, then bring it all back to the other side.
We shake it off, now turn around.
We don't let no bad vibes get in our way. Put your hands up in the air. When we dance, we don't care. Wave left, now right, then turn around and one more time.
Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right, then bring it all back to the other side. Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right, then bring it all back to the other side.
Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right, then bring it all back to the other side. Shake it off, turn around. Don't let bad vibes get you down. Put your hands up, wave left to right, then bring it all back to the other side.
Shake it off,
Turn around.
put your hands up, wave left to right, turn it around. Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off.
Now turn around. We don't let no bad vibes get in our way.
Of course, this guy who's had a wonderful hit. Now then, it's on. It really is on.
Good evening, guys. I want to share with you an amazing story of just how powerful we are and how much we underestimate the power of a decision in a moment. I don't know, you guys probably heard about it, maybe you didn't. Last week I shared a link actually on Facebook about a gentleman who had scaled the balconies of an apartment building to save a child that was dangling from, I don't know what it was, 4th or 5th floor, I don't recall exactly, but when asked afterwards how he did it, because it seems superhuman, and he just simply said that he saw the child there, he knew that that child needed help, and he just made a decision that that child wasn't going to die while he was there. And he went up those balconies from the outside of the building and climbed up. Incredible. A powerful, powerful story of just how amazing a decision can be if we lock into it with our full power of our mind. Have a great evening, everyone.
I've learned that courage is not some deep internal fortitude, that you don't dig down deep and find the courage. That courage is external. Courage comes from the relationships we have, those around us. A partner in business, a personal relationship, our team, because our team believes in us, which gives us courage to do difficult things. A trapeze artist, a world-famous trapeze artist, would never try a brand new death-defying act for the very first time without a net. Now, all that courage, they're the world's greatest trapeze artists, but they need something external before they do something very dangerous. And it's the same for the rest of us. So when we have someone who says, I believe in you, I got your back, even if this doesn't work out, I'm here with you.
Need motivation?
Watch Top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because in my first business, I quit on my business partner. I struggled to keep going. I was making $300 a month and felt like a complete failure. And the thing that saved me, that pulled me up, was studying the stories of famous entrepreneurs. I got the motivation from them. I also got the strategies of what to do next so that I can go off and achieve my dreams. And quite honestly, I still need the stories today myself to continue my motivation to take it to the next level. So today, let's learn from one of the best, Simon Sinek, and my take on his top 10 rules of all time. Enjoy. Rule number 2, keep your vision big.
How can we ensure that we're changing with times, technology, culture, politics, and tastes, rather than just trying to beat our competitor? And you see it across industries. Publishing, for example. The internet showed up and they saw it and they thought it was nice. And they, as it took on, they sort of, I guess they were interested in it. They sort of played defense. And then Amazon showed up and Amazon went to all of them and said, hey, you want to invest in us? And they all said no. Well, now they're all playing catch up. They're all playing defense. Netflix went to Blockbuster and said, want to buy us? And Blockbuster said no. The rest of the TV and movie industry were too busy comparing who had higher ratings. And they completely missed the fact that Netflix has now completely reinvented television. I find that fascinating. General Motors was destroying its own electric vehicles to protect its old business, and now they're all rushing to catch up with Tesla. I think this is hilarious. And it's the little companies, the Netflixes, the Amazons, the Teslas, that get ignored, that aren't seen as a threat, that end up defining and redefining entire marketplaces. Now, this is not unique to small companies. Big companies can absolutely redefine. The problem is big companies are more obsessed with their finite goals. Big companies are more obsessed with beating their competitors. And little companies are obsessed with their vision. Little companies are obsessed with this outsized vision that outstrips the resources they have, right? Somebody says, we're going to do this. And everybody looks around and goes, well, we don't have the money for that. We don't have the talent for that. I guess we'll have to be creative. And I think this is one of the opportunities for big companies. As they get big, their visions get smaller. They become goals that they can just do a back plan for. There's nothing inherent that a big company shouldn't be innovative. But to your point before, they become risk averse. They become stable. And at the end of the day, it takes huge vision. What I imagine is a huge corporation, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, that someone will say, we imagine a world that's so crazy and so idealistic that in this large corporation, they all look around and go, we don't have the money for that. We don't have the talent for that. I guess we'll have to be creative, which scares the heck out of the investor community. But remember, all of those companies were founded by, whether it's your Steve Jobs or all of these companies, Salesforce, they all started by young people who had no experience and only had vision. And I think there's no reason why big companies cannot be innovative. But I think it's about pushing their own boundaries and allowing for entrepreneurship. And inherent in entrepreneurship is failure. You can't experiment without failing. I remember talking to a CFO of a big company once, and he told me that he has two priorities for the company. Innovation and efficiency. I said, good luck with that. There's nothing efficient about innovation because you have to keep trying something over and over again. There's nothing efficient about that. And for some reason, I don't know what it is, companies are obsessed with growth. And everybody, they brag, we're a hyper growth company. Show me one article, not 10, not 15, show me one article that shows any data that hyper growth is good for business and good for the company. There is no data to show that companies who are obsessed with growth actually build stronger companies, because they don't. And so it is a fool's errand that is promoted usually by an incentive structure that rewards short-term benefits. I think what companies can do is start to look at their incentive structures and start rewarding things like teamwork, ethics, and long-term gain. And guess what? You'll get the behavior you reward.
Rule number 3, tell powerful stories.
And let's bring it back. Let's connect our breathing to our body, to our mind, to our energy. To our energy of determination. That's right. We determine. We don't choose and lose, give up, believe lies, give in to fear. We don't do that. We don't give in to anxiety, stress, things that are not the truth of who we are. The way you did your best today, whatever exercises, stretches you chose to do, it's the same process you get to use here, now, and wherever you go. In the gym of life, you get to grow your mind. You get to grow your mind health and your mind wealth. It's all possible if you determine, make the winning choice to be kind, to be peaceful, caring, loving, appreciative, grateful for everything you have here and now. I'm so grateful for my breath right now. I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for our being, what we all truly are. I'm proud of my effort today, and I hope you are proud of yours. Because that effort, that process, that determination you use, it's available to you all the time. It's your greatest gift. So don't ever give up on using your determination to be your true, kind, positive, loving self. To control your own mind, no matter what is going on outside of it. You are infinitely intelligent, powerful beyond measure. And you get to work now more than ever. Your own mind, your own body, your own energy. Making yourself better now so that you can be better